Is the computer going to freeze? Let's find out. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. G'day, Stu from UAVFutures. Welcome to Happy Flying. This is the weekly stream where we jump in. We talk all things FPV. First, though, we need to do a little bit of housekeeping. We've got a heap of stuff to talk about today. I am pretty excited, but I also get pretty nervous right before I start this stream. Clicking this button, making sure the camera's not froze. So let's make sure, go through, double check some things. Johnny DRC is in the house. He's saying Mike is good. We got Lockie in here. Lados can hear you a bit quiet. All right, well, maybe the microphone. Audio sounds great, Stu. So I don't know where the mic should be there. But let's try and get this stuff sorted before we go on with the show. Some things we're going to be talking about. Of course, we're going to be talking about mental health. We've got some pretty cool new merch that I want to talk about as well. We need to talk about like beginner's guides and modular 8s and bindings, a perfect wing setup. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit as well. Some of the fastest swoops, 300 mile per hour drones. Like there is a heap of stuff I can't wait to talk to you about on the stream. But yeah, let's just check in. Let me know what you guys are up to. What have you been flying? When was the last? If you haven't been flying recently, when was the last time you guys went flying? What gear are you flying with? Just a bit of a round out of how the week has been in FPV for you before we jump in. We're going to be answering your questions as well. I don't know. Look, you're going to have to apologize. I apologize for this part as well. We did do a bit of a poll or a discussion about I think it's down here, if that's working on the camera. I was trying to set that up this morning and it looks like it's pulled some graphics or old, I don't know what the term is, old assets from my old stream like 3 years ago. So I did try to set up a goal so we could fix our recording camera and our field camera. So when we're out in the field, that's something I really would like to improve. However, I don't know what. Look, and this is not telling anybody to please, this is not a pressure to go and donate or anything like that. But if that goes off, I don't know what sounds I've got in there. I don't know what it's going to do. So, yeah, I just want to make that clear that I know I'm responsible for it, but I didn't really test it. So we're going to have to find that out. But let's check in with the chat. Find out what they are doing before we jump in, talk all things FPV. We've got some really cool emails to show you, some big collections of drones as well for you fellow FPV collectors out there. But Kiz Bartlett, and look at this, I think I'm getting better at this. I went to a race event yesterday, a 5-inch neon light event, finally got the throttle cap on and came out 10th out of 19 people. There we go. So top 50% of pilots there. I would say what's a neon lit event? Do you mean like with lots of little neon FPV gates or anything like that? Was it at nighttime, or am I totally out of the loop on what an actual neon lit event is? Johnny DRC is saying he's still looking for his walk snail quad. Yeah, I think it's gone to that big FPV graveyard in the sky, my friend, if it's disappeared and it's been this long. And thanks to Happy Flyer for letting me know about the audio. And yeah, I've been trying to work hard on that. I know we started off with this dodgy microphone right here, which is literally just, well, yeah, it falls apart and everything like that. So we're using this one. I am really glad that that's going a bit better because it was a little bit tricky as well. Yep. Kiz is saying it's night racing with all the gates lit up with neon lights. What's that like? What is it actually like to fly around with some neon lights? I think for a 5-inch, it's got to look pretty cool. Also pretty disorientating. It's something I would like to do though, and I feel like everybody who gets into FPV, they sort of dream of having little lit up FPV sort of LED lights and things like that. All right, let's go through. We're going to obviously talk about mental health a little bit. It's a big part of these Happy Flying streams. That's why it's called Happy Flying. We talk all things FPV, but we also do check in with you guys. Mental health and positive mental health is something that I'm really passionate about. FPV is one of the best ways that I think we can improve and just have a great time with our life. It is such a passionate, positive hobby. And mental health as well, I think FPV can really help with that. So if you are struggling, this might not relate to anybody, but it's important for me to talk about this at the start of every stream because it really is. It's important to me, and I think it's important to some people out there. If you're fine, you don't need to worry about that, then all the more power to you. But if you are that one person out there or one or two people and you're feeling alone, you're feeling a bit burdened by your mental health or something is just not right, please don't feel alone. It's not weak to speak. I struggled with some mental health in the past. It was really it was pretty difficult actually a couple of years ago for me. Thankfully, I'm very grateful for the support and this amazing community and talking to some professionals and things like that. But I don't want you to feel alone. I don't want you to feel ashamed. I don't want you to feel like you can't speak about this. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. And if you just need somebody to talk to, please shoot me an email. I know we have an amazing community. We've got an amazing Discord as well, where a lot of people are involved in. It's just a fantastic place to be in. So if you are struggling, I want to let you know that we are here. And it's the analogy I always use is, if you broke your leg, you would probably go to the doctors or the hospital. So if you have a mental, I'm going to call it like a mental injury, please go to the doctors or go to the hospital or get someone to help you through that. So yeah, I don't want you to feel alone or anything like that. And it's definitely not weak to speak. And I know you guys are here, you're showing up here to this stream, and I want to talk a little bit too about the importance about showing up for yourself. I know often we go out of our way to help other people and try to do the right thing by them, but it is a lot harder to be kind to yourself. And I want to put that out there, that make sure you're showing up for you. You deserve to have a great life. You're an important person. You're a special person. I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that you show up for you as well. So I don't know, just a little bit of a check-in right here. Now it seems, why has this frozen? What's going on here on my end on the chat? Let's see. So I'm gonna have to read two different parts. This part just totally is not working on my. Why won't that scroll? Can you guys put something in the chat here? Oh, okay. It looks like it's scrolling out. Looks like it's fixed. Okay. To catch up on that. All right, let's move on now from that little mental health little intro, because we do have a lot to talk about today. Where Brent Spencer FPV is saying, we built a non-FPV Neptune 2 wing and put a cam and a VTX in. Wicked fun. My kiddo 13-year-old flies like a boss. Yeah, I feel like teenagers or kids have like some, it's just not fair. Like when I watch my 7-year-old just jump on the sim or like practice flying, I'm like, you're not allowed to be that good, please. You're supposed to spend a lot more hours and a lot more time crashing. I can't let you upstage me. So, it's very, very fun. And we're going to be talking a lot about wings. We're going to be building some wings together. We're going to be sort of going, I've got 3 different options that I want to speak about. We'll be doing that with you guys on stream in a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But wings are really easy to fly in terms of, like, you need one for a standard wing. I need like one stick. Once you put your throttle up to whatever, you can just literally fly around one-handed. Happy RC says, flew a fixed wing earlier today between church services and ran about 8 packs in quads yesterday. Such a fun hobby. Thanks for what you do too. Absolutely my pleasure, my friend. Let me know what wing you were flying. And Johnny DRC says, I just got a metal detector. Have to wait till Tuesday until it's open to cars. Okay, I don't know I think he's still looking maybe for his lost works now quad. Mental health is so important. Nobody has to be alone. That's from Chip. Absolutely agree. And happy Flyer RC. We are the RC community, and community means we're here for each other no matter the need. So really good, some nice positive stuff. So if that is you are the one person who's listening to, like, that's, if this stream helps one person, and that is you, and you're not feeling right, we have a Discord link. There's a community. Please reach out to somebody, because you don't have to be alone. So if we can reach one person today, change one person's life, that's good enough for me. All right. And Johnny D is saying it's 3 feet of dry grass, stickers and foxtails with snakes. I don't know what stickers are or foxtails, but definitely you need to be careful about snakes. We flew around when I was flying with Stickman Steve the other day. We did some wing flying, and yeah, when we crashed, it was like prime snake season and prime snake territory. It was a little bit sketchy. I was definitely wearing boots and being very, very careful. It's probably a little bit different in Australia because everything wants to kill you. You guys over in the States, it seems a lot more chill in terms of like wildlife that's going to kill you. And Seaside is saying FPV flying can help lower cortisol, so that's the stress hormone. Well, I guess it depends what sort of flying you do. If you're testing out some new products, or you're trying to get your drone back, or it's about to crash on a long-range mission, I think that might actually increase the stress here. All right. What I want to talk about, our first thing of the day, thank you very much for checking in, everybody, is you'll notice this right here. I'm wearing, I think it's pronounced Luma t-shirt, and I have no idea how they got around that sponsorship in terms of like this. To me, does this look like the NASA logo? So this little package turned up and they said, hey Stu, can I send you a t-shirt? Because actually they're an Aussie brand that is making some cool little frames. So I'm going to put these on the screen, check these out, and let me know if you think this is a good idea. On these shirts, I was like, man, that's a great idea for an FPV shirt. So right here on the inside, there is like a goggle cleaning cloth, just a tiny little part, which is sort of sewn in to the t-shirt. I don't know if that's a common thing, but for people who wear glasses, but I was like, that's a great idea for an FPV shirt to have a little section you can clean your goggles on with some of that microfiber cloth cleaning thing. So let's jump over, let's have a look. Hopefully my computer doesn't break right here. So the Luma 5, they are making some really cool frames. They're based in Sydney, Australia, so it's always great to support some Aussie companies as well. And let's have a look at the full frame kit. Now, there's probably about $100, and is there one on the side so I can see a little bit better? Yeah, it's got some TPU mounts there. I don't know why those motor bolts are in the top for these photos, but it would be really cool, I think, to try out one of these. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, a lot of TPU. It's a pretty standard design in terms of like the shape and everything like that. I like how we have an inbuilt battery plug. The more that I fly, the more that I really appreciate that. Gone are the days when we used to have a big like wire hanging out the back and zip ties. This just makes it so much easier. It saves so many balance leads and things getting cut. If you've ever been on a flight and you've cut your battery lead, it's just really, really frustrating, and potentially can burn out your whole quad if you get really unlucky with a strike. Let's have a look here as well. This is what I want to see. Okay. Individual arms, which is probably pretty important, I think, for a freestyle frame, which is what I think these are going after. Is there any videos? Some sticky pads, not so interested in that. 222 millimeter wheelbase, 4.9 inch version. Wait. If you have a 4.9 inch version, can you fly 5-inch props? Like, that seems a bit risky to me to save 1 centimeter basically, or like 1/3 of an inch. Why would you do that? Let me know why would you do that? What's the point of having a 4.9 inch version? Am I missing something? Let me know in the chat, because I feel like you're really limiting yourself to props. Then like I can understand the 5.1 version, because a lot of props out there, and it annoys me, we do have those 5.1 millimeter props. I'm not too sure. We'll see what other people are saying as well. Let me have a look. Right here, that's the frame of my Walk Snail quad. Oh, that's Johnny DRC is still talking about wait, you have one of these ones? Johnny DRC, you're flying around with one of these? What else we got? Decent looking arms, pretty standard camera mounts. Looks like we got a couple of different options. I don't know what that is. Yeah, but all in all, I thought, hey, I'll give them a bit of a shout out. Oh, here we go. Here's some nice. Ooh, do I play this? Please don't have any music, because I got a bit of a copyright strike. Not a strike, but some copyright warnings in the past on one of my latest streams. Okay. We should have just played this video from the start. Look at this high quality. Sorry about this is like Australian internet. If I try to increase the quality on this, it will just completely lag out and the stream will be pretty dodgy as well. Okay. So that doesn't look like Australia, that's for sure. Yeah, if this is flown with the frame, please don't do that. I don't like flying around that sort of infrastructure. Oh, okay, we've got some soft mounts, so those camera things I looked at before are a little bit different. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I just thought that they had a cool, let's get this minimized. I thought they had a really cool like little t-shirt thing. I said, yeah, you can send it. I really like the idea of having like an inbuilt cloth cleaner for your FPV glasses. I was like, oh, that is exactly something that is useful, some smart sort of thinking there. And it looked like a pretty decent frame as well. So we might try and work on maybe getting one of those frames, see if we can build one of them up in the future. I'll have to send them a little email, see how they're going, because they are a small company. I'll put the link after this. I'll do some show notes and things, but I'm all about supporting some Aussie companies or people who are just trying to do something a little bit different. So I don't know what you guys think. Some people are saying that's cool editing. Would you fly this? Is this the sort of drone that you would build up? And what do you think about the price? So for, what was it, $150? What is that in USD? AUD to USD. I'm going to say it's about $100. Spot on. It is 99 US dollars. So look, still a premium frame, definitely. And Brent is coming in with the details right here. He's saying that flight that we just watched right here was from, where is this? That was Jacuzzi J's rip. He's an Aussie and he was in Thailand. Okay. So yeah, pretty cool little stuff there. Some really nice flying. I would fly it if it was sent to me. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a big, as you get more and more involved in FPV, I've realized that like at the start, everybody's like, yeah, I can remember when I got my first FPV frame, but now it is like my first free frame for review. I would say now what I want is information for you guys out there. If they're doing something new, is it something innovative? It's just, it has to be exciting content. It has to be an exciting product. That's what I want to make videos about. Or if it's the opposite, a really bad product, so you can make a video and say, hey, maybe you don't get this, you know. And I'm talking about the Cetus X kit out there. I really dislike the Beta FPV Cetus X Pro. It is not probably my least favorite review that I did last year. All right. We're going to move on. I want to talk about today. This is something I've been getting asked quite a lot. This is like the beginner's guide on how to bind up your Mobula 8, your Goggles L from Walk Snail, and also your Radio Master Pocket. So if I put this on the screen, how can I do this without breaking my computer? Is that the zoom in button? Here we go. And I'll take a snippet right here. Put this over here. All right, let me make this full screen. Okay, so these were just on some comments that I had yesterday. So I thought, look, I need to address this. I need to make a video about this. Jumping over here, don't break computer. And hopefully this is coming through. Hi there, and thanks for your videos and advice. I just bought everything you said in this video, the Radio Master Pocket, the Mob 8 HD, and the Walk Snail Goggles L. I just followed a video setup of Radio Master, but I can't bind to the Mob 8. Can you help me? I bought this exact kit. Now I'm struggling to get it all connected. A good primer on how to start this kit. Could you please, and then someone else, could you please make a video guide, beginner's guide on explaining how to set up and bind the Walk Snail Goggles L, Radio Master Pocket, and the Mob 8. So absolutely, that is what this is. So the important part to remember is we're going to do we need to connect our drone, and I do have a little Mob 8 here. This is actually the analog version, but it'll do for my demonstration purposes. But we need to connect this drone on two different links. We have our video link, and we also have our radio link. So the first things first, we're going to do for the video link, it is really, really straightforward. So when you get your Goggles L, you need to make sure that they are on the same firmware. You can go to the CADX website and download whatever the latest iteration is. I'll put the picture on the screen. Actually, I can probably do that right now to show you guys as well. See, this is the beginner's guide. straight away it goes to the download page. Okay, so you go here and let's have a look. Which is we go down here to, here we go. Oh, there's the manual, the firmware. So you would go right here to the avatar 38.43.8. It might be different when you're watching this video. Click on this and it's going to download something to your computer. There's going to be the ground and there's also going to be the sky. And you need to make sure that both your versions are up to date and also they are matched. So once you have done that, jump over, you put it on an SD card, put it in your goggles. To flash them, it is really easy. Once that file is on your goggles, simply power them on, hold the button in for 8 seconds. It'll go through the binding procedure. It'll go through the update procedure. Once that's all done, you need to do the same thing with the Mob 8, but of course it can't take an SD card. So you put the little file onto the onboard board. You can actually plug the 1S board in there, put it in, and then there's going to be a little button which is on your 1S kit from Walksnail. You hold that in, that's going to do the updating. Then it's time for binding. Once they're on the same firmware, it is really easy for that video bind. All you do, press this little button on the goggles L, just once, just very, very quickly. It's going to put that into bind mode. You do the same thing on your Mobula 8 with on the little 1S Walksnail board that's on here. That's going to bind. They're going to make a little noise. You're going to get your image on the screen. Bob's your uncle, or Brad's your uncle in my case, and then look, you have now bound your video. Now the next thing you need to do is we need to make sure we can control our drone. So that is going to be with the Radio Master Pocket. When you've got this, you need to basically set your binding phrase. Now the easiest way to do that for me is you turn your radio on, and you guys are going to really, really laugh at this. I dropped my radio the other day. Thankfully, everything is okay, except, I don't know if you can see my power button here. So in the terms of like being completely professional, I have a little bolt right here because the button broke on the inside. And what I actually need to do is use that bolt to short the two little terminals that would correspond to, I can't do it showing you and on stream, but short these two little terminals. Oh. And then that's how I turn my radio on. So yeah, I have this little piece of fishing line attached to a metal bolt, which I use to short the place where the button used to be. So, you know, you can laugh at me in the comments right there. But when you do that, then you're going to go through and there is a setting, and I'll put another picture on the screen later when I edit this video down as well, that inside here, there is under Edge TX. So we simply go to our system. We scroll all the way basically to the bottom, and you can go to, well, there's two ways, but I'm going to teach you the way that I do it. There is a bind button there. Don't worry about that just yet. I'm going to go through and you turn on Wi-Fi connectivity, enable Wi-Fi, and then on your phone, this is going to let you set your binding phrase on your phone. And this is the way that I do it 9 times out of 10. You can find that and you can connect to it by Wi-Fi, and there's going to be an option that pops on the screen that says, hey, put your binding phrase in. Do that. Now your radio has its own binding phrase. It needs to be unique to yours. Like mine, it's UAVFutures. Stickman Steve had some troubles the other day because he forgot 1 exclamation mark. So you need to make sure that's exactly the same. And then once you have that binding phrase on your radio, you need to do the same thing or the same sort of way to set your binding phrase on your Mobula 8. There's a couple of different ways to do that. Probably the best way that I can show you is right here, which if you go over to the Express LRS website, we're getting a lot of love hearts in the chat. Thank you very much. And once your beta flight is all up to date and everything like that, you go over to the receiver tab, make sure you've got these options selected, and this is where you put in your binding phrase that will save to your drone. So in this case, I had UAVFutures saved on my radio right here that you saw me just do. Sorry about the camera part right there. Now we're going to do that with the drone as well. So we simply put that in, to go down, click save and reboot, and then they're going to talk to each other. Those two things are going to be bound. The binding phrases need to be exactly the same spaces, same capitalization if you're going to use capitals, same special letters. It's basically like a password. So you need to make sure that they're the same. keep it simple. Your goggles are now bound. You are ready to rock and roll. So that is my short, sharp, and sweet version on how to bind up your pocket radio with your Mobula 8 and your goggles L so you can get off to the races, have an awesome time. All right, I can see we got JFPV in the chat as well. Does it power off if it falls out? No, so they're obviously talking about this. People saying that's really scuffed. So talking about my radio. No, it is exactly the same. This is what I love about FPV and what FPV has taught me, and I'm sure you guys can let me know in the chat as well. Being able to repair stuff or understand how things work is a skill which is not really taught, or it's not something that we have in today's society. You know, you basically just replace something or send it off to somebody else. I love FPV, and one of the skills that it taught me is how to fix my own things, or at least investigate it to try to get a bit of an understanding. And for me, with this, it's just a little button. So the button here, once it's shorted, that would be the same as pressing it in, and then you can let go and it stays on. And then in order to turn it off, I have to do the same thing. So I've still got my Wi-Fi running there from when I was doing that example. Let me exit this. All right, so then if I want to turn my radio off, I simply take this. I say simply. Come on. I'm getting performance anxiety, guys. Where are we? Oh, am I using the wrong end? No. Come on, what are you doing to me, radio? All right, I'm going to pretend you guys are not there. I'm picking up my radios. Hey, Stu, you want to turn your radio off? Yeah, watch this. I bet you I can do it just as fast. Oh, this is a joke. This has never taken me this long before. I can't believe this. What's happened? Oh. I mean, it's that easy, guys. When you've got a broken Radio Master pocket radio, don't drop it on the ground is probably the best advice I can give you. Yeah, they're just I don't know. I mean, a lot of other bad parts could have broken. It could have been a lot worse. Like maybe I broke a gimbal or something. I can still use the radio 100%, the functionality. Like imagine if I snapped off a different button and I had to try to do that with the scroll wheel or something every time I wanted to make one little thing. At least with the on-off button, you only really use it twice in your whole flying session. Yeah, so there we go. We got some other people saying he broke it. Come on, bind. Yeah. There are some other options too. Like if you're going to bind that, there's like a bind button you can press on here. You can plug your drone in through. Like the ELRS website has so many ways to bind things. ELRS is great. It's pretty straightforward. That is the way that I would do it. All right, help me guys here. So we're going to just catch up a little bit. People saying really scuffed. Oh, if you got just that easy. Yeah, absolutely. Help me build the perfect wing setup. So my wing, which is right here, I have been enjoying wings like so much. And this is where I know that it's really special because I've been flying them, like even without the camera recording. Like I fly so often, but 99 times, well, not 99 times, I'd say 9 times out of 10, I'm flying for work. Like I'm flying to make videos, I'm flying to test, I'm flying to sort of just push things and I get a better understanding so I can make videos for you guys. I've been flying my wing purely for fun, like no recording, no DVR, nothing. I don't need to share it or anything like that. And I cannot wait till Stickman Steve is back in town so we can do some more wing chasing. But you can notice this is my little baby AR. I know Johnny DRC has been talking about this a lot as well. So this is the Pro. I have crashed this so many times. It just keeps going. And you can see I have some big streamers that are hanging off the back of mine because it's just so much fun. And the kids have been actually asking, hey, Dad, can we fly that? We take it outside. I get my wife to launch it because, look, I still haven't launched it by myself yet. So even the wife's been getting involved. And I got to give a shout out. I can't remember who gave me the tip, but I remember it in the comments. And here's a nice little tip if you're going to be launching wings or somebody else is going to launch it. The boomerang style throw, which we have been doing, is far more difficult than the old school style throw. If you just hold it over your head, yoink it up into the air, And then it's just much more stable. It's on a better trajectory anyway. You just blast the throttle and away it goes. So yeah, if you're going to be launching it and you have somebody else to do it for you, I don't know what you call that, the overhead backwards throw, it's like straight up into the air, is far easier than trying to do it with a boomerang. Now I've done things a little bit differently with mine. I did have a little 4S motor and a little 4S, a little like, yeah, a 4S ESC and a little 4-inch prop inside mine. But you will notice things have gotten, I couldn't help myself, guys. And this is where I'm going to need your help as well. If you know anything about wings, we now will, this might be overkill. And it is overkill. I have a 50 amp 6S ESC in here. I have a 5-inch motor, which can run on 6S. And I think it's probably too much power. And I'm rocking a 6S battery. Now, one of the other upgrades that I did, because this doesn't have a flight controller, I don't think it's very popular nowadays, but there might still be some cameras out there that do this. My FPV camera that I've got in here, I think it is the Foxeer Arrow Micro Pro 2 or something. Citation needed. It's pretty old. I pulled it out of an old drone that I had. And the camera's like 7 years old, but it has inbuilt voltage sensoring. So what I'm able to do on a wire on the back of the camera to get that OSD, so I can check that I've got video, a really good little tip is if you can pick up a camera, you run that voltage sensor cable directly to your battery, or directly basically I've got mine to where the ESC connects, and it's going to tell me how much battery is in my voltage. It's going to put that on the OSD on my wing, which, because I don't have a flight controller, normally that's how we do it in today's world. So yeah, that's a really, really easy way. Now, I know some other people have spoken about putting it on the receiver as well. You can measure voltage on your receiver and you hit a switch and it'll give you like an audible readout. I just like it on terms of my OSD. Now, the one problem that I have, because that's such an old camera, it doesn't really compare to today's, like the camera that I had in here was amazing. This one has an OSD, but the image quality isn't quite as good. So I need to find that sweet spot, which is where you guys can help me as well. Russell is saying, I've been looking at inflatable kayaks, and it crossed my mind that an inflatable wing filled with helium would not only take a smaller footprint, but it would stay up with almost no power. Yeah, that's called a balloon. But yeah, I don't know. So it's probably a lot of work. And I don't know how robust it would be, like if you were going to put that, if you had like a balloon wing, or so to speak. All right, Johnny DRC is saying, I have a Maytech wing flight controller in mine on iNav. I do need to do a bit more investigation on iNav. What about a slingshot launcher? Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to like keep it simple. That's what I love about that wing. There's no flight controller. There's nothing I really need to worry about. I plug the battery in, I give it a throw, and it's basically up in the air, ready to go. I think for me, I need to just get better at launching it myself. I did try to do a little bit of line of sight. It just gets a little bit sketchy when it turns around and my brain needs to realize that I'm flying towards myself and to reverse the controls. So as soon as I basically just launch the wing, and if my wife doesn't throw it for me, then I just start with the goggles on. But another time when we first started to test it and she did a boomerang throw, I wanted to see just which way it was rolling. So I watched it line of sight and tried to fly it. It started taking off. Luckily, I could fly it enough to get it out of here, and then just punched it up into the sky, threw the goggles on, and we were ready to rock and roll. Teleporter saying, that is a nice wing. And I will say, if you haven't built a wing, now this is your reminder. This is such an addition to our hobby. In the chat, let me know, do you have a pair of goggles? Do you have radio? Do you have a radio? Do you have batteries? Do you have a charger? You sir or lass are missing out on one of the best contributions or additions to FPV, and that is getting a wing to cruise around with. Like, they are ridiculous amounts of fun. And other people saying AKK VTX, there's nothing wrong with that. I do have some of them. Those ultra long range ones as well. We might be looking at that. Now, help me right here. If I was going to build a wing, let's get this on my screen share. I am conflicted on what wing to build. And this is where I need to take my own advice because, like you might have heard me say, there is no drone that does everything. There is no ultra long range indoor flyer, super freestyle, hardcore racer, micro whoop, 10-inch. It just doesn't exist. You need to have a drone for a specific role. Like you need to master it. It needs to be a master of that role. So a basher wing, I feel like, is what we have right here. So that is probably what this is going to be. I want something really simple that I can just throw around. It doesn't really matter what happens to it. I'm going to have an absolute laugh. If the unfortunate thing happened, it went in the drink or it disappeared, I'm not too concerned. It is going to need, so I want all of these to have, let's watch my Photoshop skills here. So they are all going to, that's meant to be OSD. I really should have just used the type function. So we're going to need that on all three of these. But then the TBS Ultra Long Range, I know that Trappy has, oh, I think someone was trying to ring me actually. Did that come through for you guys? Something was popping up on my screen. I don't know if that was a Skype contact or someone trying to give me a buzz. But yeah, so this is not a spoiler. I don't know if I can talk about this. Let me know in the chat. Do you think that this would be a hypothetical cool idea if, because I know Trappy probably has a new wing coming out. It would be really cool if I could catch up with him, right? Like in person and do another ultra long range flight. Like, I don't know how we go about that. But yeah, let me know. So for my ultra long range, I think I might talk to TBS and see what we've got going on there. I think they are the masters and they've been doing this the longest. I've done some long range flights with Trappy in the past, like where one time when I was over in Hong Kong, he flew at ridiculous amounts, like a distance away. My GoPro disappeared, basically. I thought we'd lost the wing. It was so far away. And then I was like, oh, that's the one GoPro I bought for this trip when I was in China. Anyway, he flew it back and it came back. So it was really, really cool. It's one of my fondest memories of FPV. It's catching up with Trappy. So here I feel like he's going to have a lot of that information covered that I'll be able to ask him about. But here, I want to build a digital quad. So, a digital wing because the picture is going to be a little bit better. It's still bumpy. I don't know if we should put in a servo in here or a head tracker or anything like that. Do I want to make it a nighttime wing? Like we can cover it with LEDs, or am I better putting these night LEDs over onto my, and like just converting this one here into like a bit more of a, on my basher wing to cover that in LEDs and everything. So this middle one, what am I kind of doing it for then? Like what is a mid wing and what flights would you do with it? So here, if I've got a TBS ultra long range wing, I don't know what it's called, but I want to get that back. I'd really care about it. Here I've got a basher one that I don't really mind what happens to it. I don't know if you have a night wing or a mid-level wing that's going to be digital. What am I actually flying that for? I need your help a little bit to decide. Should I just build two? Should I just have a basher and like a premium one, or what do you need a middle one for? Other people saying yes, go to the mountains. Johnny DSE is saying yeah, go to the Japan. All right, I'm doing an AR Pro with a head tracker. All right, is that could be an option, especially if we're going to be using digital. I do have a little head tracker downstairs that's sort of like half in another project as well. I'm just not entirely sure what I should be doing with the wing if I need to do that middle one, because I've been having so much fun with it, like especially where we are too. I've got a great place to fly it. It looks awesome. I want to get chasing Steve's wing. He's been looking at getting some old planes and things like that. Probably the important one for me though is like wings seem so much easier than like fixed wing planes and like things with rudders and that stuff. That makes it look a lot more difficult. A wing is so easy. 2 servos, it keeps going. I don't have to worry about it breaking or anything like that. And then we've got right here, you need a cinematic for the mid with head tracking. Yeah, okay. All right, that might be a good idea too. Just cruising around, doing some mid-level cruising, especially if I've got the digital. That might be a good option. Probably need to find out what sort of wing would you put it in a wing? What would you put that in there? I've also seen like gliders. There's like a whole rabbit hole that I've been thinking about going down. I guess that's one of the beauties of this hobby. There's so much things to check out and have a play with. Very, very exciting stuff. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is this a little bit. We're going to talk about one of the fastest whoops that I cannot wait to see. I'm just waiting till it comes back in stock so we can do our review. But this is going to be a perfect time to talk about this. So here's my little segue. You guys can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But I want to say thanks very much to, so this is from Phaser FPV, but they actually have a sister shop. So I'm not drinking it now because it turns out I can't wait till 10 o'clock in the morning for my coffee. So I have one of these as soon as I wake up. Just a bit of a shout out. He sent me a Central Coast coffee package to support the channel. I'm drinking tea right now, but out of the Phaser cup. So I'll put this link in the link down below because even though it's not FPV related, just want to say, man, thanks. I really appreciate you supporting the channel, and it's more difficult than ever to sort of make a living on YouTube, and every little bit does help. So thanks very much. He also sent, and this was pretty cool because we've been talking about 3D printing. I'm going to have to do something a little bit more in depth with this. This little thing right here is basically a vacuum or a filament vacuum. I've been actually using it to store the coffee beans in with some bags. So keeping them fresh, even though you can use it for 3D printing. So anyway, just want to give Phaser and Central Coast Coffee a little bit of a shout out as well. Props Off is saying likes are at half. I smashed the like button. It didn't help at all. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Here is a little thing that I've been trying to do with my live stream. And let me know if you think this is a good idea or a good mentality, or if it is completely a backwards way of thinking. When I'm doing this live stream, obviously everybody likes likes, everybody likes super chats or donations or whatever it's going to be, like in numbers and viewers. This is the best part of my working week, when I get to just chat, talk with you guys, and just connect with other FPV enthusiasts around the world. I try not to look at the numbers. I try not to look at the likes or anything like that. It's just like I sort of push that out, and you guys are the important part. Just having that connection, especially in this day and age when everything seems so digital and reading and things. It's nice just to be able to kick back and talk with you guys about FPV, because I'm exactly like you. I'm just an FPV nut. The only difference between you and I is that I point a camera at it. So when I'm smashing my drone, I've usually filmed it, where most people are just mucking around with their mates out in the flying field. I'm doing the exact same. I'm just pointing a camera at it. All right, let's have a look here. This is what I wanted to talk about next. So this could be the fastest whoop in FPV, or at least a bind and fly. This is the Hummingbird V, I think it's the 3.1. I'm so excited to test this out. So the Hummingbird version 3.1 race spec ELRS. Look at this. It is a 16.5 gram bind and fly. I've been talking to Newbie Drone just a little bit, and we're working on a review, but also is this out of stock at the moment? Yeah, add to wish list or a pre-order. So I think it's going to be very, very popular, and I completely understand from a business sense, there is no point making a video for a company that takes, hey Stu, can you do a review on this? And they obviously get some publicity about it. People either like it or don't like it, whatever. But if somebody does like it and they want to go and purchase it and it's not there, it's a bit of just a lost cause for them, because YouTube usually only pushes a video once and then it's done. But we will have a review of this coming out when it's a bit closer to stock and people can get it. But very, very exciting stuff. I think Nick Burns did a review on this and it looked like it was absolutely screaming around. And 16.5 grams is ridiculous. Like, in terms of how light you can actually get a quad. And what do we got here? It's interesting, actually. Is that an XT30? It looks like it is. So shaving every single gram they can get off this drone, it's really, really interesting that they still have an XT30 on here. What batteries does it take? The Ultimate Whoop Racer. Oh, an A30. Sorry, it's an A30. My mistake. A30 power connector compatible with BT2. Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say that was making me scratch my head of like, wait, is it 2S? But obviously it's not with that connector. 25 milliwatts. Okay, the CAC firmware. I I don't know too much about that sort of firmware. I believe it's made for like pure. It's like a racing dedicated firmware, so you can swap your pilots out quickly, or like multi-leg racing, maybe that they call it. I'll have to investigate a little. If you know a little bit more about CAC firmware, please put that in the comments down below. The Cockroach Light. I'm just going to say AF frame. 2.4 grams. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. So, oh, here we go. Here's some of the stats. The ESC firmware is the same. What is the difference? Milliwatts, same ESC. Is it just that the motors are a little bit different? 802, 702 motors. And they get 25% less. That can't be right. So this weight, right? 16 grams to 21 grams. You might think, oh, a couple of grams difference, but when you look at the percentages, that actually is a big difference. It's like 20% difference between the weight difference between the two. Surely those maybe it's just the motors, the 802s versus 702s, and a battery connector make up 25% of that weight. Yeah. All in all, really, really exciting stuff. I can't wait to get this, fly it around, and possibly do some racing as well. I've got some exciting things coming in terms of I can probably show you right now. Check this out. This is unplanned, but nuclear. Because I want to do a little bit of whoop racing. I feel like it's a great way to race. It's not scary or anything like that. It's a lot more easy to get into whoop racing versus 5-inch racing. Kiz is saying CAC is racing firmware. Yes, it also used for underground drone league whoops. Okay, let me show you this. So this is called. This is when I want to do this maybe in conjunction with it. I think it's already in the post. Maybe you guys have seen this. Here we go. It's on Etsy, so I'm not too sure if it's just one person doing this, but let's put this on the screen. My Etsy store. Here we go. If you're into racing, this might be right up your alley. So we've got these. They're from Nuclear Quads, but some little nuclear lap timers as well. So this one, the nuclear core, it's basically, I don't think that like how do they measure racing nowadays? That Immersion RC is, I don't know if they're still full in production or something, but I think lap timing and that sort of stuff. So I can't wait to try one of these out. We're going to have one of these that should be coming up for review, hopefully this year, depending on how long postage takes, or at least, what do we got, like 2 months, so at least sometime next month. Yeah, to rip this thing around, and combining that with the Hummingbird, I think is going to make a really, really cool video. At least a lot of fun. I can set up a little track around the house, screaming around, race Stickman Steve, prove once and for all that he's the second best pilot in this county. Anyway, Props Off is saying, our season opener is next Sunday. I will be announcing. However, I will take some time to see what all the pilots will be flying, and those that have this frame, I'll get an opinion. Yeah, I think it's great to have an option in terms of a whoop that is competitive and possibly comparable to some other fully tricked out custom builds. I mean, kids can let me know in the chat as well, where if you're getting this one, it probably performs good enough where if you've got the skills, you can win. I mean, racing can be as a pretty fickle sport anyway. It can then take one little crash or nick or something to go wrong where you're not going to get first place. But this is good enough. I think, in terms of racing. Look, I'm no expert or anything like that, but this is sort of a real competitive racing little Whoop machine. And kids are saying, I made an 8-way node timer from Nuclear Quad. They work fantastic. Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we're going to be checking that out on the stream as well. Not on the stream, on the channel that should be coming up. And we've got T Dog is saying FR. I'm not too sure what he means like that. For real? Let's see. And here's, have you seen the new firmware for the UDL igniters? I'm flashing this week. Okay, they're talking about some other racing specifics right there. Moving on, looking at the time, the next thing I want to talk about is this. We've got two things. I'm going to have to skip one of them, but I got a cool email. This is a little shout out right here to, let me get this on the screen. Let's see, without sharing everybody's email address right here. So this is going to be from Chainsaw FPV, and let's clear this. This came up, and we're talking about like quad collectors, because I saw a little post on Reddit, and it was basically saying, hey, I collect props as well. It was people talking about collecting different props or collecting drones. It's really, really cool to see. Maybe we're going to be turning into like those old people who collect model trains and like store them in the cupboard and those sorts. So it looks like this person has some really, really old props here on the wall. They're a bit of a collector, got a lot of ethics props. One thing I do like, if you need any Chainsaw FPV too, like I have a lot of unmanufactured props that are out of manufacture. You can't get them anymore. If you are missing some, or maybe we can put together something, I have a lot that I'm happy to send you some. This is the sort of props that we started with, these old school gem fan things. I think they were called like 5030s from memory. They would explode on impact. You could just look at them and they would break and decide to not work. These Azures are not, I think that might be the name of them. We've got some from Pyro Drone. Yeah, really, really cool stuff to see. Got some larger props on the wall as well. And then if we go through, got a quite a nice little collection, very neatly organized. This makes me feel like this can't be real. No one else's drone room looks like this, mate. They're all covered in things, collecting some lanyards as well. But who out there is a collector? How do you store them? So this is a really, really nice little space. An old Phantom in the corner. Obviously got a fixed wing aircraft. Maybe a little metal. And some more fixed wing. This is like the RC room. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. Just a little bit too tidy, if you ask me. So who out there collects some other things? What is your biggest collection of in FPV? I feel like I have a bit of a drone museum, the actual craft and drones themselves, especially when it comes to frames. Ladders is saying all those bullnoses were so fragile. A piece of grass would make them explode. Let's see. These aren't bullnoses though on there. They were. I don't think I could. Oh, okay. He means these ones. This is a bullnose quad right here. Bullnose prop. So that's where we had a really blunt, like really inefficient, but still a lot of power. Yeah. All of these ones were pretty terrible. People don't understand how nice FPV is today compared to 10 years ago. But I guess 10 years ago is a lifetime, especially in a hobby like this when we're talking about that. Okay. The last thing I want to show you is, this is pretty exciting, a 300 mile per hour quad. Yeah, you heard that right. I saw a video that I just want to highlight. It is the fastest drone I have ever seen. It's using one of the newest ESCs, which is sort of what the whole video was about. I'm going to link it down below. I have not seen the ESC. I don't know too much about it, but I saw this video yesterday, and check this out. So this is from Mike X FPV, and it's using the Voltara 70 amp ESC. I've got the music turned off. Let's see if I go to here. So you can see here, I was like, man, I don't believe this at first, but it's kind of nuts. It looks great. So this is what I wrote yesterday, but check this out. This is insane. And first I was a bit confused. I was like, wait a minute, what is he carrying? Is that some sort of payload? But no, let me pause here. You can see we have 6 motors as well. Sorry, 8 motors. So heaps of thrust, heaps of power. It's carrying a GoPro. This is insanity. Check this out. So that doesn't really do it justice. This is where it's at. 0 to, wait, was it 300? Oh, 300 kilometers, my mistake. Yeah, 391 kilometers. Absolutely ridiculous. Now it's out over the ocean, so it's really hard to get a sense of speed. But very, very cool stuff. I don't know what the maximum amp draw would be to do that. But yeah, like 200 seconds and it's disappeared. Really just, I don't know, like next level engineering. Let's see, is he going to show us a replay of this? That's the only problem. Like it's over far too quickly. Comes in for a bit of a landing. I guess you've got to land them very, very carefully. Looks like an amazing place to fly as well. I'm going to pause it on the screen in just a second so we can see. What do we got here? So 391 kilometers per hour. Use 2,000 or 1,500 milliamps in that little punch. Okay, and then there's Mike X right there. But let's watch that one more time, just disappearing. It doesn't do it justice. Like that takeoff does not, it looks like it was fast forwarded or something like that. And then it's just cruising back. Obviously, like a few seconds in, a bit of a power loop, we are a long way out. Just this part. It looks like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a really, really cool video. Some exciting times. It's great to see that even with like ESCs today, they are still pushing the limits. I never thought we'd need a 70 amp ESC that's doing some things a little bit differently. But here we are building. I don't really want to build an 8 or an octa quad. It's just a lot more things that can go wrong. But I will happily watch the videos. So you, sir, Mike X, really, really cool stuff. It's got KISS Ultra here as well. I've never really done too. So the KISS Ultra firmware and flight controllers and those things, I've never really done too much with KISS since way back in the day. I haven't touched a KISS firmware or quad in about 5 years. So I don't know if they're coming back. I don't know how they're still around. If they're still making money and able to be profitable, all the more power to them. Just, yeah, cool stuff. All right. I think, guys, looking at the time, just going to catch up on here. We have, get this on the screen, T-Dog saying, holy moly. Nope, they're still there. Air Devil is saying, I got more than 20 FPV drones, I think. Yep, it's a little bit of an addiction. Just make sure you're treating them right. And that's what's great too. I know we've spoken about it in this stream. If you've got a wing and you've got an old quad that you don't want to fly, you don't need a flight controller. You literally just need an ESC, a couple of servos and a motor, and you're good to go. And then, of course, you probably have FPV if you've got an old quad as well. Throw that in there. It is so easy. All right. All my stuff is in sterile drawers. Here we go. And props off saying, Gap, show me footage of a race. I'll probably forget to use it. And don't desync. Yeah, definitely. That's true. If you're going to be flying around when you're going 300 kilometers per hour, it'll be over very, very quickly. Even though I would probably like it over some fields or something, just so I can get a bit of a sense of scale. Obviously not over any property or anything like that when we're cruising at 300 kilometers per hour. Anyway, I want to say that is it for the stream today. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. It is the best part of my working week. If you would like to, we have this little stream goal down here that I don't know if that's actually showing on the screen. We are working on getting some new audio. I put a link in the description to this video or somewhere. I think it works. But yeah, if you would like to donate to that, that's how we're going to sort of work on. I'm hoping to be able to get that this year, a new field camera and a microphone. So we don't have to have some really bad audio and lose some footage and things like that. So that's what we're working on. So we can make a video that is better for you guys. Other than that, I want to say cheers for being here. You are special, you are valued, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you're the one person that's listening to this, you haven't been having a good day and you think, oh, Stu's not talking to me. I am talking to you. I'm glad that you're here. You are special, you are valued, and just thanks for being you. So, all right. Air Devil is saying, thanks, Stu. Have a nice day. Yep, I am. It's actually been raining while I've been doing this stream a little bit. Props off is saying, been a subscriber forever. You're amazing and I appreciate you. Come to the US and stay with me and my family. We will fly. If I ever did, yeah, I would. I would probably do a little announcement of saying, hey guys, I'm going to come visit the States. We'll just have, I would definitely come and stay, come and do some meetups and check out and hang out with some people, check out their gear, do some flies and things like that. That'd be really, really fun. Although it might be a little while off first. We've got to get this, I got to get a microphone sorted before I can organize a plane ticket. That's for sure. Too easy. On that, guys, subscribe for more FPV related content. Be kind to each other, but most of all, be kind to yourself because you deserve it. Remember, show up for yourself. You show up for other people. You've showed up here for this stream. Show up for yourself. All right. I'm proud of you too. All right. Catches. Thanks, Happy RC.